guys, welcome! In this series, we'll take a closer look at the newly added job class in Ragnarok Eternal Love, which is a Doram Warlock class. The Doram race is gaining popularity not only for its irresistible cuteness, but also for its versatility in battles. For this particular reason, there are a lot of builds available for the Doram Warlock class that may utilize either physical or magic attack. For the first part of my Doram Guide series, we'll take a deep dive into the ranged physical build for farming, which uses the Foxgrass weapon. We'll discuss in detail my recommended skills, stats, runes, equipment, cards, and farming tips. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a clearer idea on how to efficiently grind using the ranged physical Doram build. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. First, let's take a look at the recommended skills to get. For the first job Doram Warlock skills, you should allocate points on Level 10 Soul Bead, which is an active buff that increases your max HP and max SB for 30 minutes. Having high HP will be important once you've changed to the enemy's third job. Level 10 Soul Strike, which is a passive skill that increases your attack and casting range. It also allows you to deal additional true damage when using a damaging skill. Level 3 Stealth and Level 5 Stoop to unlock Level 5 Jump, which is a very handy skill when exploring maps or doing quests. However, its animation when landing is quite slow. A tip for this is to click on your mount to cancel the animation. As for the remaining skill points, allocation will be up to you. You may opt to max out Stoop to level 10 and Stealth to level 5. Once you've changed to the Spiritualist second job, you may get Level 10 Picky Peck, which will be your main farming skill in the early game. Picky Peck only has a 1 second cooldown and a 1 second cast delay, so you can spam it rapidly. It also has a chance to trigger critical hit, which is quite different from the normal critical hit of ADL Rangers or Rune Knights. First, it only deals 1.5 times damage instead of 2 times. Second, it does not ignore the defensive targets. And third, the critical chance of Doram skills is not affected by luck but rather by agi. Then get level 5 Curled Beetle Charge, which is an active skill that grants plus 30 agi for 60 seconds. This has synergy with Picky Peck for higher critical chance. Next, get level 3 Fresh Shrimp as a prerequisite for the active buff skill Shrimp Swamp. And then max out Shrimp Swamp to level 10, which grants high attack and magic attack to you and your party. After that, get level 5 Meow Crowd, which increases HP by 5% for every cat in your party, including yourself. This means you can hire 4 kitty cats and put them in your party for a huge HP boost. Even if they're already expired or dead, they will grant HP as long as they're not kicked out of the party. As mentioned earlier, skills that increase max HP will become significant only upon reaching the enemy's third job. Next, get level 3 Tarot Trauma as a prerequisite to the summoner skill Lunatic Carrot Pound. When compared to Picky Peck, Tarot Trauma has higher damage multiplier but has a longer cooldown. This means you can easily one-hit kill mobs with Tarot Trauma, but it will be slower than farming with Picky Peck. Thus, Tarot Trauma is less efficient than Picky Peck for grinding. Only max this out if you cannot by any means one-hit kill with Picky Peck. And lastly, allot the remaining points on level 4 Tuna Steak, which restores an ally's HP. You may use this skill to heal yourself if you have the Fresh Tuna Class S rune with the third line activated. Once you've changed to the Summoner Transcendent job, you may get Level 10 Lunatic Carrot Pound, which is an AoE skill that hits enemies twice and has a chance to stun. LCP is now the main farming skill as a summoner, especially in maps where monsters spawn close together. In order to improve the damage of this skill, you'll need to get the Life Burst Class S rune with the third line activated. With this advanced rune, LCP can trigger critical hits that deal 1.5 times damage. Similar to Picky Peck and Tarot Trauma, LCP's crit chance is increased by agi. Next, get level 10 Life Power for increased flee, max HP, and attack. Next, put a point on level 1 Night Vision to unlock Cat Sight. And then max out Cat Sight to level 5 for a plus 10% Ignore Death. After that, get level 5 Hiss for increased movement speed. And lastly, allot the remaining points on the following support skills: level 5 Tuna Steak, level 5 Tuna Party, and level 3 Oceanic Power. Once you've reached Job Breakthrough, you may allocate additional skill points on the following. Level 15 Lunatic Carrot Pound for a higher damage multiplier, Level 20 Life Power for more flee, max HP, and attack, Level 10 Curled Beetle Charge which grants plus 15% movement speed, and lastly get Level 20 Soul Bead which increases max HP by 1000 points and 10%. Once you've changed to the third job Animus, you may get Level 1 Formidable Meow and Level 1 Savage Soul to unlock the passive skill Life Soul. Then prioritize maxing out Life Soul to level 20 to further increase your skill damage. This will add a significant percentage of your remaining HP to damage dealt when using animal skills such as Picky Peck, Tower Trauma, Lunatic Carrot Pound, and Savage Soul. This is the reason why you need to put points on Soul Beat and Meow Crowd. Next, get level 10 Savage Soul which summons a Savage Spirit to a specified direction, dealing damage to all enemies hit on its path. Similar to LCP, this skill can crit if the third line of the Life Burst Class S rune is activated. It is also a good farming skill due to the high damage output. After that, max out Oceanic Power to level 10. Then allot 1 point each to level 1 Groom and level 1 Rumble to unlock Tasty Shrimp Party. Next, max out Tasty Shrimp Party to level 10. This skill lets you cast Fresh Shrimp and Shrimp Swamp while also increasing your SP regen by 10%. With this buff, you can efficiently farm without worrying about your SP getting depleted. And then max out Ocean Soul to level 10 to improve the effects of seafood skills. Lastly, allot the remaining 20 points from job level 60 to 80 in Force Focus for higher HP. Now that we understand the core skills for the physical Doram build, let's discuss next the recommended stat distribution. For early game farming using Picky Peck, you need to prioritize putting points on Dex since this is a primary attribute that increases ranged physical attack and therefore increases Picky Peck skill damage. Then balance it out with Agi. As mentioned earlier, the critical rate of Picky Peck increases based on your total Agi, and you need to have high crit rate to ensure that you one-hit kill the monsters. As for the remaining points, you can allocate it on it for increased SP regen. However, once you've become an Animus and have placed points on the skill Life Soul, you will need to reset your stats and then prioritize putting points on Vit. This is because the Life Soul passive adds huge damage to your skills based on your remaining HP. With this skill maxed out to level 20 plus the runes activated, Vit will become more significant in the damage computation. Next, if you already have the Life Burst Class S rune with the third line activated, you need to put points on Agi. Higher crit chance means higher damage for LCP and Savage Soul. And lastly, allocate the rest of the points on Dex for a higher attack. However, if you don't have the advanced rune for triggering critical hit, then you should max out both Fit and Dex and then just put the rest on Agi. Next, let's discuss the most important runes to get. First, for the Aesir Monument runes, you should activate the following. First up, we have the 5 Soul Strike Penetration runes which will increase the true damage dealt by Soul Strike by 50%. Next, activate the 3 Curled Beetle Charge Agi runes which increases the Agi provided by Curled Beetle Charge by 15. This means level 5 Curled Beetle Charge gives plus 45 Agi. Then get these 5 Dex runes. After that, unlock the 6 Lunatic Carrot Pound effect runes which will give a total of additional 36% damage to LCP. And lastly, we have the 2 Ignore Death runes which will increase Ignore Death by a total of 3%. Once you've become an Animus and unlock the tier 3 runes, you can activate the following additional runes. First, we have the 6 Life Soul Limit runes which deals extra damage of 9% of max HP. After that, activate all the 5 Lunatic Gunner runes which will let you summon 1 immobile Lunatic Gunner that attacks enemy units automatically. The damage inflicted by Lunatic Gunner is based on the damage of LCP. This is also a good additional farming skill when you've become an Animus. Next, get all 7 max HP percent runes which grants a total of 10% max HP. Then get all the 4 Vit runes for plus 4 Vit which increases max HP. After that, unlock the 4 Savage Soul effect runes for a 32% increase to Savage Soul. Next, get the remaining Dex runes which will give additional 4 Dex and 2 Ignore Death runes which will give additional 2% Ignore Death. And lastly, if you have extra runes, you may get all 4 Shrimp Swamp attack runes, which increases the attack and magic attack given by 20 points. As for your remaining contribution points, it is very important to allocate them on nearby HP and attack nodes. Next, let's discuss the notable advanced runes. For this build, the most important Class S rune to obtain is a Life Burst rune. As mentioned previously, this is a rune that can trigger critical hits with Lunatic Carrot Pound and Savage Soul. However, this effect only has a 12% generation chance. This is also the only source of crit damage increase for Doram's animal skills. Another Class S rune that you need to get is the Meow Hunter rune, which gives a 30 to 100% chance to refresh all skill cooldowns when killing a monster every 3 seconds. Having a higher chance will greatly improve your efficiency. As for the Class A runes, you should aim to get the Savage Assault rune, which increases Savage Soul damage by 1 to 30% and decreases cooldown time by 0.1 to 1 second. Another good Class A rune is a Shrimp Frenzy rune, as its second line increases the final effect of Shrimp Swamp by 1 to 20%, so you'll gain more attack when Shrimp Swamp buff is activated. As for the Class B rune, you may get the Buggy Quick Strike rune, which grants 1 to 10 additional agi and 1 to 10% additional movement speed. Finally, for the attribute runes, prioritize upgrading the Annihilation Attack rune, Penetration Attack rune, Armor Breaking Attack rune, and Assault Attack rune. Then for the buff runes, level up your Vit, Dex, Agi, and Size buff runes. Up next, let's dive into the recommended equip set and cards. In general, we should equip items and cards that increase the following stats to increase our damage output: Penetration, Range Damage Percentage, Max HP, Fit, Dex, Agi, and Attack. Percent Ignore Death is also very important since the crits of Doram skills do not ignore the defense of targets. Also take note that we've mentioned earlier that luck and crit damage percent won't affect the crit chance and damage of Doram skills. For a weapon, the only option for the ranged physical build is the wonderful Fox Grass. You can craft this from the Rosanna Equipment Craftsman NPC using the following materials. Then upgrade it to Fine Fox Grass for more Dex, Attack, and Max HP. In addition, it increases the damage of Lunatic Carrot Pound by 2% for each refine level. So a high refine Fine Fox Grass is recommended. For the endgame, you need to synthesize the Fine Pink Fox Grass, which gives a significant boost in stats. It also increases the damage of Savage Soul by 2% for each refine level. As for enchantments, you should aim for either Morale or Arc 4th Enchant for increased Ignore Death or Ranged Physical Attack respectively. Take note also that Fox Grass is considered as a staff, so it has no size penalty. As for weapon cards, it will depend on the monster you are farming. Just use an appropriate element, size, or race card to boost damage. As an example, if you are farming Stapo, which is an earth element, small size, and formless race, you can inlay your weapon with 2 of each or a combination of the following cards: Memblat card, Desert Wolf card, and Peko Peko Egg card. You can also inlay 2 Meta and Egg cards, each of which grants plus 5% max HP. For the offhand, you may use the Rosa Bracelet for plus 25% Ignore Death. Ideally, it should be refined to plus 12 and upgraded to tier 9 for additional attack. However, if you already have a high Ignore Death stat, then the Niles Bracelet would be a good alternative as it gives plus 15% range damage. Ideally, it should be refined to plus 10 or plus 15 for plus 2% and plus 4% range damage respectively. As for the enchantment, you should aim for the Armor Breaking 4th Enchant, which grants physical penetration. For the offhand slot, you may place cards that increase damage to certain elements by 5%. Examples are the Draco card for Earth monsters and Dark Shadow card for Dark monsters. You may also inlay the Agent of Love card from last month's event, which gives attack and Ignore Death. Next, for the armor, you may use the Doram exclusive armor Elegant Doram Man 2 as a beginner. Then just upgrade it to Elegant Doram suit in the mid-game. For the endgame, you will need to synthesize the Lazy Meow Cat and upgrade it to plus 15, which gives a significant boost in stats. Other options which are cheaper than the plus 15 Lazy Meow Cat are as follows. First, we have the Chosen's Gown, which is a synthesis of the Staunch clothes. The important stats it gives are plus 10 dex and plus 4000 max HP. At plus 10 refinement, it also grants plus 5% max HP. You may also upgrade it to plus 15 to trigger the insight effect of Minora's card. Another alternative is the God's Blessing, which is the synthesis of the Godness armor. The important stats it gives are plus 20 vit, plus 4500 max HP, and plus 12% max HP. In addition, it also gives plus 1% max HP for each refine level plus 1. Similar with your weapon, you should also aim for either Morale or Arch 4th enchant for increased ignore def or range attack, respectively. It is also good to get a high percent HP and percent physical damage increase in the enchant stats. As for armor cards, you may place any of the following: Munak Star card for plus 15% ignore def, Pekka Pekka card for plus 10% max HP, or Archer Skeleton Star card for plus 5% attack. For garment, the only choice is the Ancient Cape since it grants plus 15% ignore def. Upgrading and refining it will give additional attack. As for enchantment, just aim for a high percent HP or physical damage increase stat. And as for the garment slot, you may inlay an Orc Zombie Star card for plus 3000 max HP. But if you have a high budget, then you can use either the Eclipse Star card for higher vit and max HP, or the Toad Star card for higher dex and range attack. For footgear, the Rune Boots would be the best option as it gives high percent attack when upgraded and refined to plus 12. Similar with the garment, you should also aim for a high percent HP or physical damage increase stat in the enchantment. As for footgear cards, the best option would be to inlay a Ferris card for plus 2 vit and plus 10% max HP. For accessories, the most ideal would be a plus 12 Dog Servant, which is a synthesized form of the Dogtooth gloves. This because of the plus 4% range damage it gives a plus 12 refinement level. When refined to plus 15, it grants plus 4% range attack. However, this is also the most expensive. Other options include the following. First is the Ring of Immortality, which is the synthesis of Endurance Necklace. This greatly increases attack, fit, and percent max HP. Next is the Survival Ring, which is a new accessory that can be crafted from the Rachel Equipment Craftsman NPC. Unlike other accessories which give attack or magic attack for each refine plus 1, the Survival Ring increases HP by 200 for each refinement level. Thus, the total HP it gives is quite comparable to that of Ring of Immortality. And lastly, we have a Tier 7 Staunch Ring, which boosts attack, max HP, and healing bonus. You may use this accessory if you're wearing the Chosen's Gown due to their set effect which increases attack and magic attack by 5%. You don't need to prioritize synthesizing it to Ring of Loyalty since the only benefit it gives is plus 56 attack. As for enchantment, just aim for a high physical damage increase stat. As for accessory cards, you may inlay any of the following. Scarecrow Star card for plus 3% max HP, Zipper Bear Star card for plus 3% attack, or any race or element damage modifiers depending on the mobs you're farming. Examples include the Ultraman card for Brute and Demon monsters, and the Kaho card for Earth monsters. Lastly, for the headgears, there are a lot of headgears in the game right now with various effects and uses. Choosing which to equip should be based on your budget, both in Zenny and real money for gacha headwears. For the head, the gacha item Abyssal Cry is currently the best in slot due to its ability to easily activate the insight effect of Minora's card. You'll need 3 Minora's cards, 2 in your weapon and 1 in your adventure handbook, plus this headgear to get 50% ignore def. Other suitable options for gacha headgears are Carousel Dream, Thunder God's Kabuto, and Norma the Unicorn. F2P players can use a plus 10 Corsair, Majestic Goat, or Cat Ear Beret. For headwear cards, you may inlay an Andre Star card for additional pen and ignore def, or an Agira Star card for additional attack and plus 2 to all attributes. For the face, the gacha item Star Love Song is currently the best in slot since it gives plus 5% pen and plus 5% ignore def when refinement level is plus 6. A good alternative is the gacha item Frost Masquerade Mask for higher attack, especially since our Vit, Agi, and Dex will reach 99. Other possible options are Shield of Valhalla, Beast Mask, Atrocious Mouth, and Dragon Scale Stripe. For the mouth, you may use the following gacha items: Dream Milk Silk for plus 4% pen, Kraken Treasure Key for plus 8% max HP, or Kumamon Mask for plus 5% max HP. For F2P, my suggestions are plus 10 Pipe, Abyss Whisper, or Blowgun. For the back, my recommendations for gacha items are Emerald Heart, Frost Mistletoe, Thunder Taiko, or One Eye Captain. As for the F2P back items, you may use the Devil Wing, Baby Owl, Steward Briefcase, or Zongzi Babe. And lastly, for the tail, I suggest using Wind Perch Drake, Sir Louis XVI, or Guts Wing 1 for gacha headwears, and Beast Tail, Ice Ridge Sculpture, or Ancient Dragon's Plate for F2P players. But for more efficient farming, you can use Silver Bell instead due to the less 10% cast delay and less 10% SP cost. Again, these are just my personal recommendations for gacha or F2P players. Of course, there are other headgears that you can use which give % penetration, % damage, % ignore def, % max HP, fit, dex agi, and % attack. Up next, let's take a look at the possible pets to accompany you in battle. There are tons of pets to choose from, but here are some of my recommendations. When facing high-def mobs, especially in Niflheim, Lighthalsen, and Rachel, pets that give ignore def are suitable, such as Desert Wolf Baby, Peko Peko, Ruin, or Alice. For higher damage, you may use Orc Baby for plus 5% HP, Joltrish for plus 40 attack and plus 2% pen, and Moonlight Flower for plus 2% pen. However, if you can already achieve one-hit kill even without a pet, then you may just get a pet that increases your SP region such as Sohi, Marionette, or Pen Pen. Lastly, here are some tips you need to take note of when setting up your farming. For your auto skill slots, put in your self buffs, Life Bead, Curled Beetle Charge, and Shrimp Swamp. If you already have the anime skill Tasty Shrimp Party, then just remove Shrimp Swamp and place Tasty Shrimp Party. Then put in the damaging skills, Lunatic Carrot Pound, Savage Soul, and Lunatic Gunner. Make sure to select the monsters you want to farm so that Lunatic Gunner will be placed near the mobs you're farming. Because if you select all monsters, Lunatic Gunner will be placed on the spot where you're standing. At early levels, SP sustainability would be a problem. Aside from having SP regen gears, you may combat SP problems by doing the following. First, cook and eat batches of 999 1-star foods for SP discharge. Second, use up warm and hot meals from the food shop NPC. And third, place Playing Dead skill in your auto skill slot. Using elemental converters will change the element of Doram's animal skills. This will significantly increase the damage against monsters with elemental weakness. Next, to boost damage, you may eat cooked foods that increase attack, penetration, and ignore def such as the Satisfied Feast and Original Will Seafood Soup. In addition, we could also consume Vit, Dex, and Agi meals. Another way to boost damage is through our Guild Blessing and Praying cards. For Guild Blessings, max out HP and Combat Blessings to 150. As for Praying cards, prioritize Spam and Ignore Def for attack cards, max HP for Def cards, and fire damage for element cards. If you can already one-hit the mobs without the need to eat cooked foods, then I suggest to consume foods that reduce cast delay such as Original Will Salad. The 15% reduction in cast delay will help boost your farming efficiency as you can cast skills more often. Another way to reduce cast delay is to use a Silver Bell tail item which I've mentioned earlier. Use items that increase job EXP for faster leveling up. Make sure your Meteoric Chain or Lightning Chain are active before you start farming. You may also opt to consume Pouring Growth Panacea which can be bought from the Tutora Assistant. There are also equipment and headwear that boost EXP gains such as Light Saint set from the Fantasy Generator 2 machine, and the Net Hog's Poison Fang, Night Era, Sanders Legacy, and the Blue Isled Sea from the Fantasy Generator 1 machine. Only use these items if you can still one-hit mobs. For farming spots, here are my suggestions. When starting out as a Doram Warlock, you can use Auto Attack to farm Squirrel and Robio Forest. They drop the Creamy Hazelnut item, which is quite in demand as they are needed for crafting Doram gears. The optimal level to farm here is until level 23, but some still stay here until level 33 due to the high Zenny income from selling Creamy Hazelnut. But if you're prioritizing EXP, then you may go to Dorado Island and farm Sea Otter and Beach Conch as they give higher EXP. Just use Rough Wind Converter for higher damage. You may stay here until you can change job to Spiritualist. As a Spiritualist, your main farming skill is Picky Peck. You can use this skill to farm the following monsters: Hornet or Memblat in Molnir Mountains, ideally from level 40 to 55, Desert Wolf and Morak, ideally from level 50 to 63, Greatest General, ideally from level 55 to 70, and Minoris, ideally from level 60 to 74. Once you've changed to Summoner and already got Lunatic Carrot Pound, you can then farm these monsters in the following maps: Cobalt Hammer or Cobalt Archer in Court Forest, ideally from level 70 to 95, Anolian or Sting in Glassheim Culvert, ideally from level 85 to 100. After level 100, there are no spots where AoE farming will be efficient as these two I've mentioned. You can just switch back to Picky Peck and farm Orc Lady or Phenomena in Clock Tower Basement 1 from level 100 to 115. Some would still continue farming in Glassheim Culvert due to the higher Zenny income. Once you've changed to Animus, you can farm with LCP, Savage Soul, and Lunatic Gunner at the Harpy spot in the border checkpoint starting at level 109. This will yield higher Zenny income, but competition is tough in this area. You can stay here until level 129. You may also try farming at the Fairy Main and Far Fledgling spots in Magma Dungeon first floor, or to Martin and Geographer spots in Aimbrook Field. At level 130, you may go to the Plain of Ida and target Stapwa and Man-Eating Grass for farming. AoE farming is good in this map as the monsters spawn quite fast and close together. And for my last and final tip, you need to invest in your raw attack and HP unlock and deposit rewards in the Adventure Handbook. You may also get more Vit, Agi, and Dex by doing the following. First is by doing multi-job and leveling up to the following job classes. Second is by getting headwear deposit rewards from Taurus, Gemini, and Leo Diadem. Third and last is by depositing these cards. Investing in these stats in your handbook will definitely help in enhancing your damage output. Alright, so far we've discussed the most recommended skills, stats, runes, equipment cards, pets, and farming tips for the Doram range physical farming build. I hope this guide was helpful in setting up the foundation for your character. As mentioned earlier, the Doram has a wide variety of skills and offers a lot of flexibility. So this build is only one of the many ways we can set up the farming of our Doram character. In our next video, we'll feature the Doram Magic Farming build, which is another effective way of farming with this job class. Feel free to comment down below if you have suggestions on what you want to see next. Alright, that's it for this video guys. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed watching this guide. If you're new here, I would love for you to consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button down below. I would love to have you back. Thank you for watching and see you in our next episode.